Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for another franchise ranking today, and this time, guys, I'm going to be ranking another one of my favourite action franchises, or action spy franchises, whatever I want to call it. And this franchise, guys, is for a franchise which is originally based on a TV show, and this franchise, guys, is going to be for Mission Impossible. So, guys, I'm going to be ranking all 6 of the movies so far from best to worst, in my personal opinion. So, yeah. So if you guys don't agree, that's absolutely fine, but please respect my opinion just like I respect yours. Okay, so let's begin with ranking, shall we? So, starting with what is easily my all-time favourite Mission Impossible movie ever, and definitely, in my opinion, the best of a franchise. So, in first place for me is definitely 2018's Mission Impossible Fallout, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, and yeah, I really love this movie, guys, and like I said, I consider it to be the best of a franchise. It's just a brilliant movie. So, what's good about it is, this franchise as a whole has a great cast, guys, and this movie is definitely no exception. So, for example, I love the performance of Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, the main protagonist. I consider this to be my favourite role of Tom Cruise. And I also love the addition of supporting characters. So, now, when it comes to characters who are alongside Ethan, my favourite member of his team is definitely going to have to be Luther Stickle, played by Ving Rhames. And he's definitely a great character in the franchise, guys, and he's definitely one of my favourites, especially because besides Ethan, he's the only character to appear in all 6 of the films so far, which is pretty amazing, isn't it? And yeah, he's definitely a great supporting character. There's many others too. For example, another character who also love as part of the team, which I think is definitely a great asset, is definitely Simon Pegg's character, Benji Dunn. I consider this to be my 4th favourite role of Simon Pegg, guys, after his role in the It Was Cornell trilogy of the 3 movies of that. And he's definitely a great character, guys, and definitely a great form of comic relief in the franchise, definitely. And I love how this movie and also its previous 2 predecessors gave him a bigger role compared to the film he was first introduced in. And he's definitely a great asset to the team. In addition, guys, when it comes to a character introduced in this movie, I also love the addition as well of a new character who we think is a good guy, but is actually a villain, which is, of course, August Walker, who is played by Henry Cavill. And I consider it to be my 2nd favourite role of Henry Cavill after Superman, guys, because he played August Walker so well. He's a very convincing and threatening villain, guys, and I think probably one of the highlights is probably the scene where he's revealed to be a traitor, and you definitely don't expect it, wow, goodness me. It's definitely a pretty shocking scene, really. And also, the stunts are definitely brilliant, guys, for the standards of a franchise. Absolutely brilliant stunts, just what you want to see in an MI movie. And the scenes are so action-packed as well, and definitely very, very intense as well. And there's brilliant visuals and cinematography, and great music composed by Lorne Balfe. And one of the things I did also love, guys, when it comes to the inclusion of Benji in the story is, I love how they made, a fake news report for someone they're interrogating, which was definitely a very creative thing to do, really, where they got Benji to impersonate a news anchor on TV. That was definitely a very creative tactic, that, really cool. I think it was Wolf Blitzer, yeah, which is pretty cool. Definitely like how they did that. And furthermore as well, guys, now there's also a character, guys, who's introduced in the previous movies franchise who I really don't like, which is Alan Hunley, because I thought he was a very unlikable character introduced in Rogue Nation, but in my opinion, guys, I found him way more tolerable in this movie. And also, guys, because I hate Alec Baldwin, but I'm not going to get into details of why I hate him, it was definitely really satisfying to see August Walker kill off Hunley like that, especially because Hunley only appeared in about 2 scenes as well. It was definitely a pretty satisfying moment, really, because I hated the character, so yeah. Although I thought it was more tolerable in this movie compared to the previous movie, I will admit. So yeah. And also, guys, in my opinion, this movie gave us the perfect ending of the franchise because at the end of the movie, all the villains are defeated, and the villain from the previous movie called Solomon Lane is back in prison, incarcerated, and can't escape for the foreseeable future. And at the end of the movie, Ethan reunites with his wife, played by Michelle Monaghan. So, yeah. That was definitely a very great ending to a franchise, guys. And it's because of this ending that I'm reluctant to check out the 7th and 8th movies which are upcoming, because I'm not really interested in them per se, really. Because in my opinion, this movie gave us the true end of a franchise. So I like to believe this is the end of a franchise. But nonetheless, so guys, so if I was to rank Mission Impossible Fallout out of 10, I would rank it a flat out 10 out of 10. So yeah, my favourite out of a franchise, guys, and will never be topped in my opinion. In second place, guys, my second favourite Mission Impossible movie of all time would have to be what is the fourth installment, which is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Released in 2011, guys, directed by Brad Bird. So yeah, and this was definitely a great movie, guys. In my opinion, my second favourite of a franchise. So what's great about this is, once again, you've got a great cast in the movie. So, for example, Tom Cruise as Ethan. And this was the first of a sequel to a third movie, which gave Benji a bigger role. And I love how this movie gave him a really big role in the story. And they gave him much more things to do in this movie compared to Mission Impossible 3, which I definitely did like. And also, other cast members are also definitely very good in their roles as well, guys. And they all do very good jobs in their roles. And in addition to that, guys, we also got a really good villain, which is called Hendrix, played by Michael Nyqvist, may he rest in peace. And I consider Hendrix to be my second favourite role of his after Viggo Tarasov in John Wick, because he did a great job playing Hendrix in this movie. And also as well, guys, I just love this movie because it also introduces one of my favourite characters, which is William Brandt, played by Jeremy Renner. And I consider this to be my second favourite role of his after Hawkeye from the MCU. He did a great job playing William Brandt in this movie and its sequel. And I definitely, as well, love the music by Michael Giacchino, and definitely does a great job with music in this, and he's definitely great. It's also pretty cool how he once again reunites with Brad Bird, because they, of course, collaborated on The Incredibles, of course, because Brad directed it and Michael did music for it, which is pretty cool. And also as well, guys, the action is once again definitely brilliant in the movie, very fun to watch, absolutely. And definitely brilliant to see, and visually stunning as well, really good. And cinematography is also absolutely amazing as always. And there's also great pacing as well, guys. Because in my opinion, there's only one of these movies which had bad pacing, but this is not one of them, because this had great pacing in my opinion. And also as well, guys, I think this movie probably has my favourite stunt in the franchise, which is probably the scene where Ethan climbs up a Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world, guys, in Dubai. And that was definitely a very suspenseful stunt, in my opinion, guys. Very intense moment, like, oh my goodness. And of course, there's also a photograph of Tom Cruise at the very top of the building. So yeah, wow. So I can't believe, he actually did that. And I like how Tom Cruise is dedicated to doing the stunts for his franchise. He's definitely really good with stunts, and this is definitely no exception, because he did a great job with the stunt of climbing up a Burj Khalifa. Like, wow. Definitely a very intense stunt, in my opinion. Goodness me. But this is still a great sequel, guys. I think probably my only bad quality with this sequel is probably that I didn't really like how Luther only appeared at the end of the movie. I didn't really like how he didn't have a role in the story. He only appeared at the end of the movie, which I was pretty disappointed about, because I was hoping he'd have a role in the story alongside the team, but sadly not. But nonetheless, guys, I still, love this movie, and I consider it to be my second favourite out of the franchise. So I would rank Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol a 9 out of 10. And now, what is my third favourite of a franchise, guys? So, in third place for me, I'm going to be going with the first film, Mission Impossible, released in 1996, directed by Brian De Palma. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to this movie, guys, once again, I think it's a great movie, but I still think that Fallout and Ghost Protocol are slightly better, and we'll get to why. But the good qualities is so. The cast is, once again, definitely great, guys. So, I've already talked about people like Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames, and there's others too which I think are definitely good in this movie. For example, I like the addition of Henry E. Cherney as Eugene Kittredge. He's definitely a very good character, in my opinion, a very good supporting character. I also as well like the villains movie, which is John Voight as the character called Jim Phelps, and also Gene Reno as the sporting villain called Hans Krieger. I think this is probably my favourite live-action role of Gene Reno, alongside his voice role of LeFrog in Flushed Away. And I think this is probably my favourite role of John Voight as well, guys, because I honestly thought he was more entertaining in this role than he was in the first Transformers movie by Michael Bay. I thought he was much better than Transformers. And movie characters are also very good as well, like Emmanuel Bertaz was also very good as Claire Phelps in this movie. And everyone else was also good in their roles too, in this. And the action scenes are also very good to watch, guys. And there's also many great quotes in this, such as, your mission should you choose to accept it. And also, this day will self-destruct in 5 seconds. And also, red light, green light as well. And the story is definitely very, very fun, guys. And the music is also great, composed by one of her composers of all time, Danny Elfman. Did an amazing job with music as always. He's a phenomenal composer. And I love how these movies brought back the iconic theme song from the show, which these films are based on, which is dun 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 dun. yeah, I love that theme. Very iconic theme in my opinion, very memorable. I love how it's brought back in this, and this is definitely a great movie, guys, and it has a very special place in my heart because it started this franchise of the movies, and yeah, without this movie, we wouldn't have this great franchise, and of course, in, was it 2016, this movie got reimagined in Lego form, in Lego Dimensions, where you got to replay this whole movie in Lego Dimensions, and of course, the open world of Mission Impossible in Lego Dimensions had many areas from the movies to explore, which is really cool. And yeah, it was definitely good how you could replay this movie in Lego form, which is definitely very fun to do, absolutely. And, however, on to bad qualities of the movie, guys. So, now, one thing that I found out about this movie, which I know that fans of the show are angry about, and also why the visual actor Jim Phelps declined to play in this movie, is that apparently, in the show, he's not a traitor. Apparently, he's a good guy, so yeah. So yeah, I can definitely understand that criticism that fans of the show have, that Jim Phelps is not a traitor in the show, but he's in this movie, so I can definitely understand that, so that's probably something I can agree with, yeah, because I think it's not a good idea to be unfaithful to the source material. And also, guys, when it comes to Ethan's crew, I didn't really like how the character called Jack Harmon was absolutely wasted because during the first scene, mission scene of the movie, guys, he gets absolutely wasted by being killed with a spike through his eye while he's in the elevator, and that was definitely a very gruesome way, and for PG-13 movie, I was a bit graphic as well, goodness me. And also, guys, when it comes to a final fight of movie, it was definitely a very intense scene, in my opinion, very memorable, especially because of the red light, green light quote, so yeah. But I feel like the CGI for helicopters hasn't really aged very well to the standards of 2022, so yeah. However, I can let those slide, guys, so if I was to rate this movie out of 10, I'd rate the first Mission Impossible movie an 8 out of 10. On to what is my fourth favourite, guys. I'm probably going to go with what is the third installment to this franchise, which is 2006's Mission Impossible 3, directed by J.J. Abrams. And once again, guys, I think this is definitely a great movie, and definitely an amazing sequel. And in my opinion, it's the only sequel to the first movie. What comes before this movie is absolutely crap, guys, and we'll get to that towards the end of this ranking. And yeah. So this movie, guys, is actually, in my opinion, my favourite movie by J.J. Abrams. In my opinion, it's his best movie ever. It's just a shame that in 2015 he'd gone to direct 2 movies in an absolute garbage trilogy that I hate. So yeah. But what's got this movie is there's a great cast once again of people like Tom Cruise returning as Ethan, and also Ving Rhames returning as Luther. They were definitely great in this movie, the two of them, as always. And this movie, of course, also introduced Benji. He played by Simon Pegg. He was definitely a great addition to the cast. And there's also other good characters as well in the movie who are introduced. And one particular highlight I definitely got to talk about is probably the villain, which is Owen Davian, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, may he rest in peace. And he was definitely an amazing villain, guys. Absolutely phenomenal. And definitely gave a very intense performance as well. He was brilliant in the role. I do like him more as Plutarch in the Hunger Games movies, guys, but I thought he was still all great in this movie as Owen Davian. Definitely a very great villain, very smart and just brilliant. Very fun to watch, and he made the scenes really watchable and fun to watch, definitely. And also, as well, the music is also great, composed by Michael Giacchino. Definitely very great to listen to. And it also has really great pacing as well, guys. Definitely big improvement to the previous movie, which I'm going to get to. And also as well, guys, another character I like that's introduced is director Theodore Brassel, played by one of my favourite actors, Lawrence Fishburne. It was definitely really amazing to see Lawrence Fishburne in this movie, and it's a shame he didn't return in anything that came after this, but he was still a great addition to a cast as Brassel, very entertaining to watch as Brassel. And this movie also felt like a breath of fresh air compared to the garbage I had to watch before this, which came after the first movie, so yeah. However, guys, on to bad qualities, so when it comes to Benji, while it was great to see him get introduced to this movie, I didn't like how he was pretty underused and didn't really do much in this movie. Didn't have much screen time, but I'm at least glad that in the sequels they used him way better and gave him lots more screen time and lots more stuff to do, and he became part of Ethan's team. Definitely did love how he gave him a big role in the sequels. But I still wish he had more screen time in this. And also, I didn't really like how the agent, played by Keri Russell, who they rescue at the start, dies despite being rescued. So that's disappointing, really. So yeah, it kind of made her being rescued pointless if she's going to die anyway. And also, guys, there's also a bit of a plot hole, like I gotta say, with regards to the plane scene, because because Davian gets hanged head first out of a moving plane in the face of deafening wind, which is very loud, guys. But for some reason, he's able to hear Luther call Ethan by name inside the plane, which is really confusing. So, like, how is he able to hear with that loud noise going into his ears? You know, that's pretty confusing, isn't it? But nonetheless, though, guys, this is still a great movie. And like I said, my favourite movie by J.J. Abrams. And I would give this movie also an 8 out of 10. Definitely a great movie, guys. And in my opinion, the true sequel to the first movie. And now, what is my 5th favourite, guys? So in 5th place, guys, we're going to go with what is the 5th installment of the franchise, which is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, released in 2015, directed by Christian McQuarrie. This is his first time directing a movie, guys. So, I think this movie is good, guys, but in my opinion, weaker than what I just covered, and we'll get to why. So the good qualities is the cast is still really good in their roles, guys. So Tom Cruise is definitely great, and so is Ving Rhames as well. And Simon Pegg also returning in as well. And we also get introduced to Rebecca Ferguson in this movie as well, which was definitely very cool to see. She's a great actress, guys, and she was definitely a great supporting character in this movie. As Ilsa Faust, is it? Yeah, I think she's called Ilsa Faust, yeah. And she was definitely very good in her role, in my opinion. Really good. She played a really well from MI6 agents, and yeah. And also, the action scenes were also very good to watch, guys. And the stunts are definitely very good to see. Music by Joe Kramer is definitely very well composed. And the villain, Solomon Lane, is definitely very compelling and menacing villain, guys, played by Sean Harris. And this is probably my favourite role of Sean Harris, definitely. I think he's definitely very good in this role. And I love how he's a former MI6 agent that's gone rogue, and he's formed the Syndicate, which is pretty cool. And it's definitely a very good movie, guys, nonetheless. And also, as a fun fact, guys, in the scene which takes place in a fight scene in the opera, as a fun fact, guys, the background opera which Ethan is fighting in front of is actually CGI, guys, because that opera was actually pre-recorded before the fight scene was filmed and inserted in as CGI, which is definitely very impressive if CGI right there. Very hard to believe, really. I mean, then again, many of the stunts in this aren't even done with CGI, which is pretty cool. However, on some bad qualities of the movie, guys, so a character introduced in this movie who I really don't like is, of course, Hundley, as I talked about when I was talking about Mission Impossible Fallout, and compared to Fallout, where I tolerated him a lot more, I found him really annoying in this movie. I found him very unlikable, guys, because he was so, mean and all that, and pretty cruel. I didn't really like his character at all. He got on my nerves, and yeah. It didn't even help with how I hate Alec Baldwin as well, so yeah. I just felt like he ruined the movie for me, really. It was just so annoying to see him in this movie, and his character was so unlikable as well. And furthermore as well, guys, there's also a scene where product placement has unfortunately gone horribly wrong, because there's a scene where Benji is playing a Halo game, guys, but it's pretty weird because that game actually came after a movie. I think it was Halo 5 Guardians, yeah. That game came out in October of that year, which came out months after this movie came out in July. So, yeah, pretty weird, really, how he was playing a game that hadn't come out yet. But, nonetheless, well, guys, this is still a good movie, and I would rank it a 7.5 out of 10. So, yeah. But now, on to what is, in my opinion, the absolute worst of this franchise, guys. So, the worst Mission Impossible movie, in my opinion, guys, would have to be none other than 2000's Mission Impossible 2. Oh my god. This movie just sucked, guys. Oh my god, it was so bad. So this movie, guys, directed by John Woo, is, in my opinion, the worst of the franchise. So, let's try and get through a good quality of the movie first, guys. So, Tom Cruise is still good as Ethan, guys, and so is Ving Rhames as Luther. In my opinion, those two actors carry this movie, despite me hating the movie. And I guess, as well, the action taking place only at the end, and I'm stressing the importance of saying it's at the end, is probably decent to watch, guys, and probably the only entertaining part of the movie, guys, the ending action scene. And the visuals are fine, guys, and the music is also, I guess, very well composed. I think it's by Hans Zimmer, and I definitely, love his music. He's one of my favourite composers of all time. But still, though, in my opinion, these good qualities overshadowed by bad qualities, but his music was still very good, in my opinion, guys, very well composed. And also, as well, guys, when it comes to If there's any other good things as well, I also love the addition as well of Brendan Gleeson in this movie. I thought he was good as his character, but I feel he was pretty wasted. Didn't really like that. That was pretty annoying. And however, and now guys, on to the absolute bad qualities of this movie. So, like, I think the reason why I hate this movie, guys, is because it is so boring. Like, I'm not kidding, right, guys? Like, it's so incredibly boring. There's hardly any action whatsoever. Like, it doesn't even feel like an action movie. It feels more like a Tom Cruise romance movie than an actual or action spy movie. Like, oh my god, it was just terrible how they made it so boring like that. Like, come on, this isn't a romance movie, guys. This is action spy. And there's hardly any action. And also, guys, when it comes as well to Brendan Gleeson, I said he was also wasted, but another actor was also wasted, guys, which is Anthony Hopkins. So, yeah, he was also wasted, and I definitely hated that. That was very annoying, how he got wasted. And what's also stupid, guys, is that apparently I found out that the trailers made it look like Anthony Hopkins was going to play a big role in the movie, like a really big role. But he's only reduced to appearing in an uncredited cameo appearance. So that was pretty dumb. Like, how could we do that to Anthony Hopkins like that? That's ridiculous. So, yeah. He was good in his one scene, guys, but I think he's better in other roles, you know, like Odin and also his role from Zorro. And there's other roles he's also played which are great too, but definitely, I just feel like his time was absolutely wasted in this movie. I feel really bad for him. And there's also a villain in this movie, guys, which is Sean Ambrose, and I didn't really like him. I thought he was a pretty dull villain, guys, pretty boring, and nowhere near as memorable as villains like August Walker or Hendrix or Davian or any other villain, really. I think any villain that I've talked about was better than him, definitely. Better than Sean Ambrose. And I just feel he was so boring, really, and not really memorable. So, yeah. And also, guys, what's also... however, when it comes to reassurance, guys, this movie thankfully has no impact on a franchise, because after you see the first movie, you can literally skip this movie and go straight to Mission Impossible 3. That's what I'd rather do, because if I ever do a marathon of movies, guys, I'm going to skip this movie and go straight to 3. I'm not going to watch this movie unless I'm watching it for my trash talk in the future, so yeah. Because I will get the movies on DVD, guys, only the first 6, and yeah. So, but I'm just really annoyed with this movie. Like, I can't believe it was just so terrible. Like, goodness me. Like, it was so boring as hell. And just a disgrace to a franchise. I mean, I've seen worse spy movies like the 967 Casino Royale movie, because in my opinion, that absolutely sucks. That James Bond Casino Royale, like a parody movie, that was just terrible in my opinion. But this is still a bad movie in my opinion, guys. And so despite what I said, like, you know, Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames, and the action at the end, and the visuals, and music by Hans Zimmer, I'm going to give this movie a very bad 4 out of 10. So yeah, screw this movie all the way. And like I said, I want to talk about Fallout, guys. I'm not interested in watching 7 and 8, because in my opinion, Fallout is perfectly close to franchise. And I've also learned a lesson from, you know, watching unnecessary sequels that, you know, I should probably stop watching at a certain point. And I'm not going to watch 7 or 8, because in my opinion, Fallout is a true end of a franchise. So yeah. So guys, this is me doing my ranking of Mission Impossible movies from best to worst. So third place will be Mission Impossible Fallout. Second place will be Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Third place will be the first movie. Fourth place will be Mission Impossible 3. Fifth place will be Rogue Nation. And last place, and definitely in least place, Mission Impossible 2. So, you know, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, just comment and say how you guys would rank Mission Impossible. Love to see you guys would rank the movies. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe for movies in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can join PC Labs or in the description. And I'll see you all later.